Hi guys, so today we're going to be talking about how to make a form in our Focus Map CRM platform. So let's just dive right into it. I'm already on the page, but to get here, you have to look at the left side of your screen, the menu, the bottom half after this little line. The third option is sites. You're going to click on there, and then in this menu on top, the fifth option to the from right to left is forms. You're going to click on form builder. And after you're there, we're gonna click on add form. There's two options, start from scratch or from templates. I always say starting from scratch is easier because you don't get distracted by whatever's on the template, and you can add the DNA of your brand, but you can do whatever you want. Today we're gonna do start from scratch. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna see is we have already some sort of base for our form, but we're gonna completely customize it. The other thing that you'll see is that this is very different than the usual sites builder that we have. But don't worry, we're gonna walk through it. The first thing that I'm gonna do, honestly, since this is opened, this is the quick add form element. We're gonna add some title to this form. So text. And honestly, I'm just gonna make it like we're giving away some ebook. Let's say, for example. So get your, I'm not gonna think too much about it. Get your, our secrets to creating a sales system, for example. And on the right side of the screen that I'm covering a bit, you're gonna find the styles and options text menu. So here we're gonna change it to the typography we usually use. Here you can add the weight, for example, 800, too heavy, 700, sounds good. The background, we're gonna make it our focus map blue, but of course you'll use your own company colors. And then for the font color, I'm just gonna do white, of course. And then a bit later, after we finish adding the quick adds, we're gonna fix the background. You could potentially also add a mini text describing what is it that it's gonna be on the other when you click on submit, but in this case we're just gonna leave it like this, just the title, it's fine. So when we are talking about what to put on a form, I always say put the most necessary data that you need. Don't just put everything that you see, right? So for example, phone number, I don't necessarily think that we would need a phone number, so we're gonna remove that. And last name, I'm just gonna here change first name to just name, and people tend to have put the last name. And then to make sure that we know who this person is, we're gonna add a LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn profile. And then here we're gonna say LinkedIn URL goes here. And then we'll know for sure what's their last name, but it depends on what you need, again. And you could add anything. You could add, for example, what's the size of your company. You can add this radio, like for example, if you were to ask what's the size of your company, you can choose an option here. Or this checkbox, depending on what are your needs. But in this case, I'm just gonna leave it like this: name, email, and LinkedIn profile. You can just explore. And again, if you need any help, you can always contact me. And I'll completely help you out. Here, this usually comes, and I think it's necessary to have it, to have some sort of consent, some sort of form that the visitor or ICP tells you, oh, I agree for you to send me communications and everything, just for legal purposes. I'm just gonna remove this second one, and I'm gonna change this quickly to I consent to receiving information from focus map, for example. Obviously, in other circumstances, I would make it a little more structured and maybe longer, but just to show you and demonstrate, just like this. And then to change the color, I'm going to change it to white directly because we're going to make the background blue. And then link, we don't have a link, but you can change the color of the link. And while we're here, I'm going to change the color of the button. That, again, you can add a button in the quick add fields. And here we're going to call it get the playbook now, for example. It depends on the tone of the communications of your company. For example, if you have a more editorial communications, you wouldn't say get the playbook now. If it's more close and friendly, you can speak like this. It depends on the tone, and always be consistent with your branding. Always use the tone of your company. And then we're gonna add a terms of service directly. So this is also important, again, for legal purposes. I'm just gonna pop in, that's another form we have. I'm gonna pop in the link. You can add a link if you click on the three dots. You just pop it right there. And then again, you can change the typography, background, color, everything that you need. So now we're gonna change the background color and we're gonna look at the styles and options menu. Here you can play again with the layout of your form. Here, for example, single line. If you want 2 columns, whatever you need. For example, if you want to change the input style to box, from box to line, I'm just gonna leave it at box, but you can play with it. You can change the width of your form. So for example, if I were to say 1,000, it would be wider. It comes in 650. Honestly, I'm in the mood for 800. Yeah, a bit bigger, a bit different from what we usually do. You can add the field spacing, label width, if you play with it a bit, or if you leave it like that. I'm not sure. Yeah. Alignment. Here it is. 100. Then here, if you add 200. Okay. Here, the alignment. There. Let's just leave it like this, and then 100. So closer. Here you can play with the margins. And then we're gonna go to colors. For the background and input color, I'm gonna be using the blue. So here, you could leave it white to grab more attention, or you can change it to the same background color. I'm gonna leave it blue. Yeah. And then you could also add your logo on top. You could add a background image, whatever you want. In advanced settings is where we're gonna edit the rest of the text. Here you can also play with the borders. For example, if you wanted to make a more circular thing, 20 for example, 50 more obvious. You can add a border, colors, different colors. You can change, you can add this, you can add this, remove it. You can add a shadow. The sky's the limit, but we're just gonna leave it like this. And then input color, we're gonna input field, font color, we're gonna change it a bit, border color, more white. The border is enough like this. Input field, that's okay. Label, we're gonna make it white. Placeholder, we're gonna make it white also. And then here you could put some code and change certain parts of the form, but we're not gonna get into that. That's a bit advanced. You can play with the weights and the fonts, totally up to you. Here. Now we're gonna change the background of the terms and services. So here we're gonna add the same color. Here, done. So that will be our form. And the last thing that we're gonna do is add the link to our playbook. And to add the link, we're gonna go into options. On submit, you have 3 options: message, you can add okay, thank you, message, open URL, or order confirmation, depending on the service or product that you sell. You just put the URL there, and that's it. So now let's save it and preview it. And that's it. Let's just say Sarilay. Let's say Sarilay. Yeah. That's it. A consent. Okay, so let's test it. So Sarilay, how does it work? My LinkedIn, and then get the playbook. Let's see. And that's it. That's how you create a form. I hope it helps. See you the next time.